capitalism.
All right. We just one more second here. Do. Yeah. All right. We are here with Chong Solo. I think I'm gonna set up kind of the room.
The Room. That's such a good movie.
Oh, that's just don't get me started on the room, man. I mean, or maybe you should. I don't
I
know.
think there was a guy at work. He was telling me that he watched The Disaster Artist without ever having seen The Room.
Oh, a ton of people, I'm sure, have done that.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. I told him he's like, is it really that bad? I was just like, it's bad, but it's so good at the same time, but not for the right reasons.
The disaster artist? Or oh no, he was asking you about the
The Room.
the
Yeah.
room.
Uh-huh. Because he's like, I thought The
Okay.
Disaster Artist was pretty good.
Yeah, I can see that. Um,
Capitalism is an economic system based on the private ownership of the means of production and their operation for profit. Yeah, so my dad and I were talking, and I was just like, God, I mean, people, they're charging a fee for everything. It's just like, oh, you want to ride a bike? Yeah, sure. Well, you got to buy the bike. Okay, yeah, I kind of figured I'd have to. Oh, you want to ride on the bike trail? Guess what? You got to pay for a bike trail fee or a pass. It's like, what? Why? Like,
hmm
well, because someone has to make money. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, no matter what. It's like, oh, okay, I got to go to this event. Okay. I got to pay to get my ticket. No problem. Wait, now you got to pay to park. What? Come on.
Everything is money, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I don't know. The thing is that, like parks, for example, you gotta pay for someone to maintain it, right?
Sure.
It's
Sure.
it's like everything.
Yeah, but that's like where the taxes come in for like the cities and stuff,
That's
right?
true. Yep.
Private donations, but yeah, you can't really 100% rely on that. So I get it for certain things. I'm trying to think of another good example to where it's just like an arbitrary fee. Oh, it's like Netflix. Why? I mean, Netflix is going up. I just got the thing saying it's like, oh, you're going up to like $17. And I was like, what? Like, why? It's like, well, now you can stream to four different devices. I was like, I only need one device.
Yep.
But then I want to be able to stream HD, so it'll be like 12 or $14 or something like that. It's like,
hmm
gosh darn it. I remember when I was paying $8 or kind of right around 8 or 9 bucks. I can't remember if, yeah, it was less than 10.
Yeah.
Every year it goes up. My rent, every year the rent goes up by 30 or $40.
That is, yeah. I mean, you could
It's like,
argue
oh,
that that's inflation,
yeah, cost of
but
living goes up. And I was like, I didn't get a raise. Like everything else is going up except for me. Maybe I need to start. I'll go to my boss and be like, hey, this is what I charge for my services now. I'll be like, hey man, inflation, cost of living goes up. They'll be like, I don't think it works that way, Eric.
well, you can. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think most like big companies, like where you work and where I work, they do the annual
Usually,
like
yeah, you get an annual, like a merit increase and
yeah,
your salary bumps.
that's
Yeah.
supposed to be to keep up with inflation.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah. When I was hourly at the other place there close to your house, uh, that research facility, uh, yeah, when I was hourly, I'd go up like every year. It'd be like 50 cents an hour raise.
mm-hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it's about, 1,000 to $1,100 a year extra. I was like, after taxes, it was a couple $100, but it's like, yeah. I don't know if it really evened out in the end or not. I guess I really never paid attention.
Yeah.
My dad was also telling me, he's like, dude, back in the day, you can get you go to like a fast food place, like a McDonald's or Burger King or any type of burger shop, and you can get a couple of burgers, a fries, and a drink for like just a couple of bucks.
Damn.
Yeah, that was less than a couple of bucks. I was like, man. But back then, if you made $7,500 in a year, that was really good, or that actually pretty darn good. That's what he said his starting salary was when he started teaching back in 1976, 75, 76. I can't remember.
But I wonder if he could like buy. Well, yeah, I guess yeah. You would you used to be able to buy a lot more. Yeah, that's inflation.
Yeah.
Um,
What is minimum wage now? Do you know?
all right, let's see.
I Yeah, I've always heard, people talking, and when Bernie was running, there's like, oh yeah, he wants to bump it up to like $15 an hour. That'd be crazy.
7.25 an hour.
Okay. That's still pretty low. That's still very low.
Yeah. I don't know,
That's
man. Like,
close to what it was when I was, when I had my first job. I made like 750 an hour, and I thought that was pretty hot shit.
yeah. So I have kind of mixed feelings about.
About the minimum wage.
Oh, I know. I believe we need a minimum wage, and
Hmm.
but I kind of feel like it should be driven by the lowest, the state with the lowest cost of living in the country, right? So
Hmm.
that state, I feel like, should determine what the minimum wage is. Because if that's the state with the lowest cost of living, then no other state should be paying their employees any less than that. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying.
But now, here's the thing: like, if you go on Twitch, like a lot of these political streams are, I don't know if maybe it's just served to me, and that's my digital bubble. But there's
Hmm.
a lot of leftist streams on Twitch, and they seem to like a lot of them be pro, you know, raising the minimum wage to something like $15 an hour. Um, but
That might be a little bit high.
I don't know, man. I haven't looked into it, but I get the impression that like if you, because New York gets mentioned a lot, right? And,
Yeah,
and
the
like
cost of living in New York is it's criminal, is
it's
what it is.
crazy, yeah. So I mean, if they're basing that off of somewhere like New York, then a place like Iowa, which I feel like the cost of living here is
Not
pretty
bad.
low. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Anywhere in the Midwest, or look at the mountain states, like South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho.
yeah. I
The
mean,
cost of living is cheap.
a lot of these businesses, I feel like are gonna. I don't know. I don't know if a lot of businesses would.
Lay off a lot of their temporary workers because they can't afford to pay them.
Yeah, I I don't know. I don't know this for sure, but that's kind of the
Yeah,
impression I have.
I think it almost needs to be determined state by state, like at the state level of what minimum wage should be.
Well, then there you go. That I agree 100%. Like I have no arguments against it
Yeah,
because
it's kind
every
of like
state should be reviewing that every couple of years, you know?
yeah, because what's like a good example of a job that would probably give minimum wage? Here's I don't know, I was gonna say agricultural field worker, but I was like, actually, they get kind of paid a little
Yeah.
bit above because it's kind of grueling. I don't know,
Even
like busting
Bebops pays
tables,
more than minimum
bebops.
wage.
Yeah, they're like $10 an hour.
Yeah.
Say you're working at some like little restaurant in town, and you're just like bussing tables or greeting people at the door. It's like your first
Hmm.
job, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think, if you're living here in Iowa, like yeah, $8, 7.50, $8, I think, that could be a pretty good minimum wage. Hopefully you'd be
Mhm.
making a little bit more than that, and your boss would, treat you well. But then if you're doing that same job in, like California or New York,
You'd
you're not going to be
be
able to live there.
you'd be homeless.
You'd be homeless. Yeah. You're just like, oh, oh yeah, I believe, and yeah, everyone can, not be homeless. Just got to find a job. It's like they might have a job. They might have 2 or 3 jobs. They just can't afford it. All the money goes to food, or say their money goes to a child support. Say it's going,
Just
you
the
know,
rent, man.
somewhere.
Rent
Yeah,
in
rent.
places like that is super expensive. So in California, the minimum wage is $12 an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's low or just right, or maybe on the high side out there. I don't. I honestly just don't know.
Yeah. On a lot of issues, I tend okay, so if I am, gun to my head, if I had to pick, are you uh
Are you
uh
fat?
are you fat? You ain't fat. You ain't nothing. If I had to choose, left or right, I agree way more with the left on
Sure.
most issues,
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
but I do feel like the United States is so big and so broad
Hmm.
that a lot of these federal laws that they're trying to apply to like every state, like the concerns of California are very different than the concerns of the Midwest, Iowa. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Or the concerns of Washington D.C. or the East Coast, or
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
things like the
Every state
minimum
has their own
wage, I feel
concern.
like to prescribe things like that it is, I
From
don't
the
know.
federal level is bullshit.
Yeah.
Or
Now,
yeah,
what about, oh, here's an interesting subject. What about moral things? Like
moral things. Okay.
moral, like morality, like should the government be establishing things that basically are kind of setting a a culture, right? Like let's say, for example, and this one's easy. This one we both definitely. I'm pretty sure I know where you stand on this one. Uh, so like they made gay marriage like a legal at the federal level. I think if I understand
Did they?
this,
Hell, I don't know.
I don't know, but that kind of thing. I mean, obviously, I think everyone should have equal rights. I think that's a constitutional thing that
Yeah.
everyone should get the same rights.
Hmm.
Um, so I need a better example, I guess. But well, like that
What?
kind of
Like
thing.
social issues, like gay marriage or like abortion.
Abortion. There you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
That's a great one right there. So
Yeah.
that's a moral problem, right? That's
Yeah.
do we as a country should we establish, this is what's right or this is
Yes,
what's
they want
wrong?
to. It's like we're going to tell you what your values should be by
Yeah,
making it a law, and that is,
exactly.
I find that to be absolute bullshit. And it's
Okay.
like you don't tell me, it's just like because I'm pro-choice, for abortion. That's not I'm for abortion. I'm not for
Like,
quote unquote killing
woo!
baby. Yeah, yeah,
Abortions,
go out and do
baby.
it.
Let's do it.
No, it's like I'm for it's it's up to the mother. It's her body, it's her choice. That's what I'm an advocate for, and not just for abortion. I'm pro-choice for all of those social issues. It's just like the government shouldn't have any say in it. None at all.
Hmm.
It's like if two guys want to go out and get married, or if two girls want to go out and get married, or whatever. If anyone wants to go out and get married, by all means, go out and do it. And the government shouldn't have any hearsay in it whatsoever.
Yeah. So you can look at it two different ways. There's the way of it's it's the Okay, so you can look at it as the government should not be infringing on people's freedoms,
Mm-hmm.
and because babies are inside, women, and the women's health and everything kind of goes into it. Thank you for
Mm-hmm.
following. Oh, thanks for following, Dangum. How's it going? We're right now we're actually on a kind of controversial subject here, so hold on to your butts. Uh, okay, so we're talking
On to
about
you, but
should the government be like uh, we so Chong Solo and we agree that the government maybe shouldn't be prescribing laws that apply to like every state because the concerns of California are different than Iowa, and it's different. So
yeah.
we're kind of pro kind of state rights in that aspect, in that particular aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're talking about moral issues. Like, should the government have any say into should they establish laws that pretty much say we as a country believe that this is wrong or that this is right? And Chung Solo brought up the good subject of abortion. So abortion, super controversial. Everyone has their own opinion on it. Um, and I was about to establish the two ways that the government could look at this particular issue. Um, so you could look at the abortion issue as okay, so we don't want the government to be telling us what we can and cannot do. And since women, you know, fetuses are inside women's bodies, for the government to say that they cannot do something with their own body, that is an infringement on her right. That's one way to look at it. And then the other one is to say, but that fetus is actually a human right, a human that should have rights like any other human in our country has. Hence, we're not infringing on her rights. You would be infringing on the fetus's life were they to abort the fetus. So those are kind of, I think, the two ways that you could kind of look at it from a government standpoint. Okay, Dangum says, but it's owned by the president and government is like mandatory. So
Oh
the
yeah.
government can make the national laws, and you can't really change that. But it's owned by the government. Okay, I'm assuming you're talking about states. So yeah, the states are kind of, yeah, jurisdiction of the government. But the even in our constitution, we kind of lay out that the states have rights to kind of come up with their own laws as long as they don't
Yeah.
like
Like
infringe on the
look at the
federal law.
marijuana issues. They're kind of saying that, the federal government's, hey, we don't really want to touch that right now. It's not much of an issue at the federal level, which I agree it shouldn't necessarily be. Um, at the very least decriminalize it. But they're leaving that up to the states, and it's just like, should they leave other things, like gay marriage, I think is still up to the states. Abortion, I don't know much about abortion or the laws surrounding abortion. I know, but it's kind of like you said, Omar. Like, regardless how you feel about it, one way or another, if you're you know, pro-choice or anti-abortion, do we think that the federal government should have any say in it at all, or should they be
Yeah.
like abortion needs to be at the state level too?
Yeah, should it be at the state level? So yeah, the question is, should the government be kind of establishing that? Because
Yeah.
it's a moral issue.
Yeah, like they feel it necessary to, it's like, hey, we know what's right for you even if you don't, like, so this is the law.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, man, that one's complicated.
That's
'Cause-
a tough one, especially with abortion, because that's such a, man, that is such a gray area, it's,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you would have to take a stance on, like, when is a human life, like, when is a fetus a human? You know.
Yeah,
Uh,
like what side do you pick? A lot of people are just like, life begins at birth, or does life begin at conception?
yeah.
Or some people are like, well, it's after 6 weeks or whatever. Once it gets a heartbeat, then it's a person. Like
Yeah.
I said, there's
Yeah.
100 different you know sides that you can choose from on that one.
So I was having a conversation with my wife about this because it does seem like it's like a spectrum, right? We all let me tell you, let me ask you this, Solo. Do you feel like if okay, I'm just gonna. Are you willing to kind of give out your opinion on the
Yeah.
subject right out? Okay.
Oh yeah, you know me.
Yeah. Okay. So, is there a difference to you in terms of whether one is more human than the other from like literally, sperm and egg versus, let's say, a fetus at 7 months? Do you feel like there's like, is it worse to abort at 7 months than at a few days?
Just had a few days. Uh,
Or is it just all the
Personally,
same?
to me, like when I brought up that, it all depends on where they think that life begins. I pick the side that I think life begins at birth, not at
Mm.
conception. So until that child is naturally outside of the mother's womb, it is just a cluster of cells and tissue.
So, like at 9 months, you think if a woman
Yeah.
takes, yeah,
Well,
right, there's a little
right. Well,
bit.
what is the current? I mean, where abortions, I guess, are legal. Like I said, I don't know much about the laws. Where they aren't legal.
Me
I think they're
neither.
saying it's like
Me neither.
to a
But
certain up to a certain month, they're just like, nope, like you missed your cutoff. You
yeah, yeah,
can't.
but we're talking about the morality of this, right? So we don't need to look at
Yeah.
the laws or anything. Just you and me, right? Because I feel like there's a difference, right? You
Oh,
know,
between like like a baby that's or baby a fetus that at like 7, 8, 9 months, because at that point, I mean, technically it can be born. There are
exactly.
babies that are born months premature, but you look at them and then they're developed. They might have you know some problems, especially months early. But yeah, that's why I don't know. I can't remember much about my my health class and about the fetal development as to what month or what trimester the uh the fetus is kind of more, I don't know, has a heart, has a brain,
Well,
has organs, I don't know.
exactly. So what I'm getting at is, I think most people can agree that there is a difference between just the cluster of cells when they first, sperm meets the
Yeah.
egg, to later down the road. I feel like most people would agree that aborting at 9 months,
Mhm.
I mean, regardless of the legal implication, that aborting at 9 months
Feels wrong.
is worse than
Yes.
early on, right? So
Yeah,
here's what I'm getting at.
I'd agree.
I feel like with this issue, we, I feel like there should be some kind of compromise because I, I feel like we don't want to, we shouldn't invade women's rights, especially early on, because who I don't know. I'd be willing to bet that a majority of people would be more okay with the abortion happening early, very early on, right?
Oh yeah,
So
as opposed to a late abortion, a late trimester abortion. Yeah.
yeah. So I wonder if there's a way to create laws that are kind of like that spectrum, right? Because the way I see it, I attribute personhood to everything, right? And they have no. They start from no personhood to 100%, right? Personhood.
Yeah.
Um, and even animals like my cats, I feel like have a certain sense of personhood. They're not human,
Sure.
but
They have a personality.
yeah, there's a certain there's something about our pets that we feel that we don't want to destroy them, we don't want to hurt them, right?
Yeah.
Whereas an object, we don't, right? There's kind of
You don't really
this
care. Yeah.
respect towards it, but at the same time, uh, if you were, I hate to say this, but like if I had to choose to save you or my cat, and we're friends for anyone watching, so we have a personal relationship, right? I would save you over my cat. So there's, I would say that you have more personhood than my cat, right?
Yeah.
Now, a murderer, like just a bastard of a person, to me, has less personhood than my cat.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You
Oh,
get
I'm with you.
you get what I'm saying? So this is the logic that I'm trying to apply
Yeah.
when thinking of like some type of gradual. I guess it would be punishment. I hate to say that because I'm pro people's rights to do what they want, especially with their body. But I cannot help but feel that a fetus in late term, it has a certain sense of personhood. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It might be developing a consciousness by then. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in
And
consciousness, there's like no way of knowing.
yeah,
Con-
that's a
yeah,
talk about gray area. Holy shit.
yeah. I mean, we can know that a baby's firing neurons, right, and having thoughts, but a consciousness, not quite. There's really no way of knowing that. We could.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother subject because
That's a whole other subject.
yeah. I mean, there's some wild theories about consciousness. Like there's a theory that everything is conscious. Like every like little cell and everything is conscious, and it's more like a basic, like a fundamental thing in the universe, kind of like gravity. It's
Yeah.
just something that is, and we just happen to be conscious of our brains and all that. All right, so not that I believe this necessarily, but there's a lot of different ways to look at consciousness. But anyway, back to the thing. You get what I'm saying? So if we can make a law that is kind of gradual, so that early on abortions, you get absolutely no punishment. You can do it. It's totally fine.
Hmm.
But then maybe the law gets incrementally more kind of punishing, right? Because we want.
Sure.
The other thing is that I think because of everything I've said already, that a lot of people would agree that we want to disincentivize women and families to do late term abortion because we feel like it's kind of wrong, or a lot of people
Yeah.
would say very, very wrong.
Even a lot of the people that are pro-choice in terms of abortion they're even saying like, hey, late term abortion, like, come on, like, no, because at that point even a lot of them feel you're robbing a child of its life.
Yes.
But yeah, early on where it's like it hasn't even developed like any organs yet,
Yes.
and it's just like, yeah, seriously, it's just a ball of tissue and cells.
Exactly.
It's like
Exactly.
it's nothing. It doesn't even have a brain.
Exactly.
It has no freaking clue. It's yeah.
So I think people are so hung up on just like we either legalize it or we don't. We make it
Yeah.
completely illegal and
Yep.
fuck everything in between. You know?
Mhm.
So I don't know. I
That's
feel
always been a tough issue.
I feel like something like this has more. I don't know. I think it's kind of a compromise, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, where I don't know, I feel like it would be better for society because we're and also I do think that it should be available, for the early on, the women that really want to do it early on,
Yeah.
it should be available for them, because it sucks that like if you were poor and
Yeah.
that
Because
happens, then you're
those
fucked.
people that really want abortions, they're gonna get it. You know, whether they get it done by a professional physician, or they're gonna go out, and do it in some back alley by themselves. If they want to get rid of that child, they're gonna get rid of it. So we
Yeah.
may as well have facilities and places where they can do it right and do it safe. But the whole big thing that I am, it's just like I am pro-choice, but I'm not in favor of abortion. Like I said, I'm in favor of the choice, not the abortion. And I strongly think that abortions should be legalized, but there's a big but, not as a form of birth control.
Hmm.
That's what I think. It's just like, no, this isn't like, oh, I get pregnant. Whoops. Well, don't worry. I just get an abortion. Like, no, 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 no. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't a birth control.
I don't think. I think. I mean, I've never gotten an abortion, obviously, but it. I don't think it's comfortable. I think women report that it's
Yeah,
like
they don't.
kind of strong, difficult
Oh, I get one every
experience.
weekend. Yeah.
So I don't think we have to worry that much about women doing it as a form of birth control.
Yeah.
Um, it should probably maybe not be free.
I was gonna
Unless,
say, yeah,
unless
to
you've
make it
unless
make it
they've been
expensive.
raped, you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
then maybe the state has a moral kind of obligation to do that. Um, but yeah, so what do you think of this stance, this personhood, this kind of gradient type of personhood way of looking at it?
Hmm. Yeah, I agree.
I get,
I'm with you on that.
okay, so it's not this like black and white, this line in the sand that everyone
Yeah,
wants to
it's
draw.
such a. There's so many. There's over 50 shades of gray in that area.
Yeah.
Well over. Yeah, and it's like, even people that are like-minded on those topics, or at least on that particular topic, they're not going to be 100% like-minded.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
So I don't know. I kind of like that way of thinking. Um,
What about the legalization of all drugs? The
oh,
libertarian way.
dude, did you see that? I think it was Oregon.
Yeah,
Legalized
they
everything.
decriminalized like everything.
I believe so. Leads the way in decriminalizing hard drugs. Dude, that's crazy. It's the biggest blow. Measure 110 is arguably the biggest blow to the war on drugs to date. Uh, okay, so it says instead of going to trial and facing possible jail time, a person would have the option of paying a $100 fine or attending new addiction recovery centers funded by millions of dollars of tax revenue from Oregon's legalized regulated marijuana industry. Dude. Fucking Oregon, man. Yes, this I am 100% on board with this. Because it goes back to like the government shouldn't be uh, making moral. I mean, we kind of already do that because like what is a right, what is right and wrong. Well, no, really, because like okay, so the government says where whoever's a human has a certain set of rights, right? Uh, so basically, I don't think the government should be telling you stripping away rights unless you've committed a crime. Oh, did you there, John? I can't hear you. Uh-oh. Hello, hello? I mean, it looks like my mic is being picked up. I don't know why. Alright, I'm gonna throw you out and I'm gonna bring you back in. Yo, you wanna talk? Dude, I see like your mic is being picked up, but I don't hear anything. I can hear you and it's picking up my mic. What the heck? Let me see something. But you can't hear me. What? I pressed nothing. Yeah, I don't know what happened, man. We're having such a good convo. Remember it was being dumb earlier? Yeah. You want to go into the settings again? Maybe see if that fixes it like you did earlier? Hello, hello? Still don't hear you. That's so weird that it picks it up, but I don't hear you. Dude, I don't know. You want to maybe unplug your mic and plug it back in? No, but that doesn't make sense if it... Alright. I'm gonna see if I can fix this real quick.
Oh, why is
Oh,
Discord
dude.
being dumb?
I fixed it on my
Can you
end.
hear
I
me
think it
now?
might have been my end. Let me see something.
Can you hear me though?
Dude, I hear you again. I had to like change my output to something else and then put it back to default
Huh.
again. That
Yeah. Because
sucks.
I had my keyboard sitting on my little coffee table. I haven't even touched it. And then all of a sudden you're just like, oh, I can't hear you. But I was looking and it's picking up when I'm speaking. Like my
Yeah,
little
yeah.
name lights up and then the little arrow was jumping over.
I think it was on my end. Something
Yeah, okay.
weird happened. Uh, but yeah, so yeah, Oregon, man, freaking that's awesome. And not only are they legalizing everything, they're creating addiction recovery centers.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, those recovery courts or something like that. Those drug courts.
Dude, I love it. And the good thing is that they can lead and be the example
Be
and
the
let the
example.
rest of the country know, all right, does this work or does it not?
Yeah. I think Iowa is going to be the last to join any of the bandwagon. We are like one of the top like 6 or 7 states in the United States that want to have like absolutely nothing to do with the legalization of marijuana.
Yeah.
Kim Reynolds and the senators are just like, nope, absolutely not. It's the devil's gateway drug. It's going to turn you all into losers. Illegal, illegal, illegal. It's
Hmm.
like, seriously? So you legalize gay marriage, but you won't legalize pot when
Yeah.
all of the science is shoved in your face saying that there's really no fucking problem with it. Nope. I don't like it. And yep, it's like it's the government, at the state level at the very least,
Hmm.
telling you, telling all of us what they think is good for me. Fuck
Exactly.
you. God,
Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Kim Reynolds.
That is why
It's like,
what
who are you, my
Oregon is
mother?
doing is the way to do it. Because to
Yeah,
even say, oh, we're only going to legalize marijuana is still saying that, you can't take whatever other drugs on your
yeah.
own legally. It's like, but I'm an adult.
It's not even decriminalized in Iowa. You get caught with it, you're fucked. You're fucked. You go to
Yeah.
jail. There is no slap on the wrist. Doesn't matter how much you have on you. You go to jail.
Well, and now that I'm looking at it, yeah, the Oregon justice system they treats those who are found with personal use amounts of hard drugs with a fine and or attending addiction recovery centers. So if you're see, but this kind of this is different.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know if this solution is fair, because a solution like this, where the fine is $100, it makes it so that if you're very wealthy and you're like, all right, whatever, if they catch me, I'll
Yeah.
pay $100. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
$100, pfft, that's nothing.
Yeah. So I don't
They're
know.
like they plan on paying. They have that extra $100 just sitting in their back pocket just because they know they're going to get caught with it, but they don't
Yeah.
care. They can afford it.
Have you ever heard of this idea of scaling fines based
Huh?
on income?
Okay. No, I haven't, but I'm picking up what you're putting down here a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
So what you're kind of suggesting is what you're saying is I do a crime. Okay, maybe it's not worth jail time, but I definitely have a fine. They're going to be like, well, Mr. Eric, based on your income, we feel that this is a fair penalty fee that you have to pay. But then you got, Mr. Hotshot $1 million Jacko over here
Hmm.
who does the exact same crime, but he makes 30 times more than I do. And they should be like, well, he has to pay the same fee or the
Yeah.
same fine. It's like,
Yeah, it doesn't
no.
hurt him as much
Yeah,
as it
because what
hurts
happens
you.
if I can't pay it? I go to jail. He can pay it and then some and pay it again
Yeah.
and again and again. So it's just encouraging him to do the quote unquote bad behavior, breaking
Yeah.
the law.
He can get away with it.
Yeah. And it's
But
just like, okay, so at that point, are they trying to teach us a lesson? No, it's all money. And remember what I was talking about earlier?
hmm
It's all about money. Every decision that the government makes, every law that has been passed, every decision that the courts pass, it is all about money. That's what's driving this whole world. That's what humanity is built on. Greed. You
yeah.
know, Mr. Krabs had it right, dude.
Well,
Money.
money. Uh, yeah. Well, it makes it. We've made money this form of power, right? That if you have a lot of it, you can get
You have the
away with
power.
a
Yeah.
lot more. But okay, so going back to that scaling fines,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it would be as simple as let's say a uh, I don't know, a parking ticket would be, let's say, 0.05% of your annual income.
Okay.
You know, so then I don't know. I don't know how much that would be, but maybe it should be more. Maybe it should be less. Whatever, right? But it would be every ticket and every fine, instead of being a set amount of dollars, it
It'd
would
be a
be a
percentage.
percentage. Yeah.
Yeah.
That way, if you're very rich, if you're just freaking
Yeah. Just
Jeff Bezos,
the Mr. White House.
mm-hmm,
If you're up in the billionaire range,
yeah.
yeah, I think you should be fined out your ass.
Well,
Yeah, or it's a percentage, like you said, fair,
it
just
would be
like
fair,
taxes.
just like taxes. Exactly. It would actually represent, because the fact that taxes are percentage based kind of represents this value of, we kind of agree that it's not fair for that a flat tax, which there still are people
That
uh,
want the flat
that want
tax.
the flat tax,
The
but
rich billionaires, of course.
of course, but we feel as a society we kind of feel like that's not fair,
Yeah,
right?
because it's usually the lower and middle class that gets fucked,
Exactly.
and the lower and middle class, mostly the middle, but yeah, we represent 90% of the population.
Yeah.
And so it's like the majority of people are saying, "Hey, this is bullshit." But those 10 percenters, 1 percenters, they're the ones that make the rules. They're the ones that write the laws. And every law and rule written is to benefit them and make them more money.
Oh wow! I just looked up how many Americans qualify as middle class.
How many?
And this 20. Oh man, wait a minute. This 2018 CNBC thing says that over 50% of the total U.S. population, according to recent Pew Research Center. So it's not 90%.
Yeah, it's not 90, it's 50.
No, it's like 50. So then
How much is in the lower class?
lower class. 29% of Americans are
So we're
considered
close to
lower
80. 80%.
class. Yeah. And then
Still the
20%.
majority.
Yep. Yep, for sure. Oh, definitely. I mean, the majority of people are not the upper class.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Unfortunately, not.
yeah, 19% of Americans are considered upper class.
Are we missing some percent there?
Yeah, I don't know, because they said that there's some fuzziness.
Is there like an
with getting
upper,
the
like
number.
an elite class?
Oh, well, there's the
like
1%.
Yeah, the 1
Right?
percenters.
The 1%. Which
They're
is
the
just
ones that are actually
insanely powerful.
the super powerful, yeah.
Yeah. Those people. Okay, so I was just thinking that this idea of fines based on percentages, it sounds all good on paper. However, is there a possibility that then the police would target the super wealthy? Right? Because, I mean, pulling over, it would kind of be the opposite of what's going on right now.
It'd be the exact opposite of what it is now.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Like right now, cops might, keep an extra eye out for cars that are, I don't know, beat up or whatever.
Hmm.
Or but in this system, they might be looking out for the Ferraris, right? And the Porsches
Yeah.
and all these cars because they know.
They're like, hey, if I write you a ticket, that's going to be a big ticket, as opposed to if I
Yeah.
pull over this, this little clunker of a vehicle that's going 5 over. Yeah, I can write him a $60 ticket. Or I can pull over this Ferrari if I can catch up to it. Yeah, and write him a $2,000 ticket.
Yeah. Yeah. But then
As far as the percentage standpoint, that's the same coming out of their wallets,
But then, that would have the side effect of the very wealthy would really start following the rules,
Oh, hell yeah.
because it really hurts them. I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of the
They
idea,
can they
right?
can feel the sting, because right now they can't feel the sting of any punishments or anything that there's a fine attached to it, because it's literally it's pennies to them.
Yeah.
If someone comes up to you and is like, Omar, you broke a lot of rules today, and they got their calculator out and they're all typing, yep, and you did this, yep, you did that, you owe me a grand total of 3.5 cents.
Yeah.
You're like,
Okay.
here's a nickel, get out of my face.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go do it again.
Yes.
And-
Exactly.
Yeah, people that can't afford it just get thrown in jail. To where the average John and Jane taxpayer have to cover their ass. Dude, and the whole American prison system,
Oh, that's a whole nother can of worms.
it's a business.
Yep. Well, literally, they're private, so they are a business.
Yeah, they're private. Yeah, the more people they get, the more they can say that they need funding from places, and then they get paid more.
Yeah. Yeah. The other side effect I'm thinking of this progressive fine system is it would be a bad idea to be driving those super expensive cars. So I feel like the sale of these ridiculously expensive cars would probably go down, right? Because you'd want to not be targeted by the cops.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You'd be like, okay,
Being a
no, I gotta
target, yeah.
keep kind of a low profile.
Yeah, kind of blend in, be a little incognito,
Man,
inconspicuous.
this, now that I think about it, it might actually have quite a few like benefits to do this, because that would cut down on, that would definitely uh, equality, right? The feeling of we're all equal would absolutely skyrocket with this, because you know that if that rich guy, that rich asshole in the Porsche that just cut everybody off, if he gets pulled over, you know that he's gonna feel it, you know?
Yeah, he's gonna feel the sting.
Exactly. As opposed to just feeling like, who cares? He got pulled over. He's got millions of dollars.
Yeah.
He's gonna pay that fine and not even give a shit. So I don't know. And then flaunting your money would only just make you like a target.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, dude. I don't know. I'm getting kind of
Yeah,
more
a lot
excited
of things
about
might
this idea.
change if they do that.
Yeah, just a fine system and bail.
What I like about money, kind of on the topic of money and billionaires or, the super wealthy, when you think of someone who's like super wealthy, a one percenter, someone who qualifies to be in the 1%, do you, because I'm guilty of it. I automatically jump to the conclusion that they're just a downright asshole. I don't know why.
Hmm.
They're probably super nice. Some of them are. It just kind of seems like the ones that are really outspoken and like to get involved in lobbying and the politics, those are the ones that are like, ugh,
Yeah.
they're assholes.
Yeah.
Or it's like, you see like, the people on YouTube, yeah, like some rich snob getting pulled over and he starts giving, lip to the cop because he thinks he's entitled. Or rich kids, that mommy and daddy will pay for anything if they get in trouble. They know someone's going to bail them out.
Because they have power. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know that they have a lot of power and they can get away with things that you could never get away with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, and whether or not they're an asshole. Okay, so I don't personally feel like if I find out that a person is rich, I don't automatically think that they're an asshole.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they must be an asshole. Why? It's like, well, they're a billionaire.
Yeah. Because I mean, Bill Gates, man, the amount of stuff
Yeah.
that guy has
Warren
done
Buffett.
is amazing. Yeah. You can be mega rich and be a good person. I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that feeling that you have probably comes from the massive inequality that there is right now, right? It
Yeah.
just feels like those people are beyond approach, right? And they're just living this
It's the
much
have and the
better
have
life.
nots. Yeah. You kind of feel like a little resentment, a little, envy, a little jealousy. It's not necessarily that I want it, So I mean, yeah, I want to be rich. I want to be able to, have a mansion and throw, badass parties on Hollywood and have all the people come over. And yeah, who wouldn't? That sounds fun. But what gets me the most, like you said, is that we cannot do the same things, because if we do the same things and we get in trouble, you get off with a slap on the wrist because you can afford to pay your way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Where me, I get bent over and turned inside out like a fucking tube sock on a sweaty foot.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, fairness.
It's not fair. Like
No.
I don't like personally. Yeah, I guess it's like you're saying. Yeah, the issue is the fairness. We know that the rules are very different for them, or they are the same, but they just don't. Being punished for us, the punishment is way bigger for us than it is for them.
Yeah.
It's not proportionate.
Consequences for your actions, they don't see it.
Um, yeah, I agree. Yeah. So again, interesting. I'm finding a theme in these kind of proposals that we're doing with the
Yeah, these
abortion thing.
ideas.
With the abortion thing, it was a gradual thing, right? Like something
Hmm.
that slides. It's not like this hard line. And
Hmm.
with these fines, we currently have a system where it is a fine line, right? It's just boom, this is the fine, $100,
Yeah,
and it doesn't really punish the mega wealthy. So now we're suggesting something that's also gradual, right? It's something uh, that's percentage based, so that it affects equally.
yeah.
So I don't know. This be interesting. I wonder if anyone's proposed. Actually, let me see. Uh, what would be this percentage based fines? Whoa, look at this. Finland, home of the $103,000 speeding ticket.
Oh my God.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Look, most of Scandinavia determines fines based on income. Could such a system work in the US?
Dude,
Interesting.
Scandinavia, like, they have it down, man.
Dude,
A
aren't
lot
they
of those
freaking
European
awesome?
countries, they're talk about progressive,
Yeah.
and they're just like, yeah, there's like, we're gonna try this. It might be a little bit radical to some, but let's just see what happens. And they're like, oh my God, the economy is thriving. The people are happy. We're not at war. Everything is fantastic. But then you look over here, and half of our country hates the other half.
Yeah.
The other half, I mean, we can't stand each other. We're almost at a civil war between the Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah.
That's just what over the last 2 decades. Well, not even probably over the last half a decade. It just seems like what the fuck has happened? Our country's. I mean, we're taking steps backwards. Not steps. We're falling backwards.
Damn.
At least in my opinion. I don't care who's listening if they don't agree with me or not. At least I think America, made the right decision with this voting, this election turnout.
Biden.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely.
For sure, I think our last 4 years were a step back.
God.
Um, dude, but this Finland thing, man, that is
Dude, I like a hundred
fascinating.
thousand dollar speeding ticket. Imagine that guy. He's probably like, oh, like how much you gonna write for me? $100? No problem. And they're just like, oh no, sir, you forgot. This is Helsinki. 100,000. Whoa! I'll see
Yep.
you in court.
Yep. But think about it. That guy,
Oh,
he'll probably never
never
freaking
speed
drive
again.
like that again.
He'll probably
Yeah.
hire a driver for him, and he'll tell the driver like, "Hey, if you get pulled over, it's your ticket."
Because it should change behavior, right? The whole
Oh
idea
yeah,
about these fines and, the threat of prison and all these punishments, the
it's to
idea
reform.
it's to change people's behavior for the better. So
Yes.
if that's the plan, then we need something like this, right? If that's the idea, we need something that it's based on income. The
Hmm.
other problem though I see is that most super wealthy people really don't, they barely have an income. What they're doing is that they have corporations, right? And the
Yeah.
corporation makes all the money and then they use that to reinvest or whatever.
Yeah.
But they still get an income, right? Because I think the money
Oh
that they
yeah.
spend, they pay themselves. So they have
Hmm.
to report that income. So yeah, this would work. I think this is a great idea, honestly.
Hmm. Because I mean, look how the court system is now. It's like you go to court for whatever, and then there's like, okay, you do a crime. It's like you're gonna go to jail, or you can pay us, $50,000 or 100,000, whatever the judge sets
Hmm.
you know, the fee for. And yeah, most of the wealthy people, they're like, I'm not going to jail. I'll pay it.
Yeah.
And people of the lower classes, they're like, You think I can pay that?
You know, but I kind of feel, I may be wrong here, but I think that when a judge decides like a bail like that, like you're describing,
Some of it's determined based on
on
income.
income, I think so,
Yeah,
because that would explain why these
I
like,
think yeah, I would say most judges probably would do that.
yeah, because they're
But they
trying to
would,
punish you, right? They're trying to
yeah,
like, the punishment should fit the crime, and they
yes,
have to understand that, okay, there's no possible way that you would pay, this
yeah.
much.
It's like even if I was making, $50 an hour and I worked every day for the rest of my life, I couldn't pay that off. No freaking way.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't pay a $2 million fine
Yeah, that would take
in my lifetime.
multiple
No fucking way.
lifetimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do that.
uh, yeah. So basically, it would be extending that kind of system to fines, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just making it freaking progressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I wonder, like, Scandinavia, man. Every time I find out about some like law, or like I think,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, it'd be really cool if we did it this way. Scandinavia, they've
They've
already
already done it.
freaking done it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. What
that'd
is
be
it? The whole
interesting.
universal healthcare, universal, you know, uh, or free education. But it's like, oh, but yeah, but your taxes are like 30%. It's like, okay, it might sound bad, 30% of your income going right to the government. You're like, shit, I only get to keep, you know, 65, 70%. That fucking sucks. But then you look and you ask the people that live there, they're just like, do you like it? And they're like, oh yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
They're just like, we love our government. We trust our government. We know our government has our back. Here, half the people say that they love the government, but they're just doing that because they think it's cool to say that. And then the other half says that, yeah, everyone in the White House should just, you know, go off on a boat and get eaten by the Kraken.
uh, I remember seeing. Let me see. Americans trust in the government. I remember
Yeah, we
seeing
fear our government,
that.
man.
I think. I remember they did a whole thing over the years, and we're down to like I think 40%. Let me see. Positive views of government's handling of. No, no, wait. That's like specific. Uh,
I don't want to pay taxes. Like,
yeah.
well, guess what? Then you don't. If your house catches on fire, the fire department's just gonna let it burn because that's what your taxes pay. Oh, someone's robbing your house. Harold, let me call the police so they can protect me. No, 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 no. You don't want to pay taxes. That's their income.
Yeah, you
You
gotta
don't
pay those
qualify.
people. Dude,
So it's
okay.
like, I think, yeah, if you don't want to pay your taxes, then you don't get any of those services.
Yeah.
What were we
Dude,
saying?
I'm gonna share my screen with you.
Do it.
Americans views. What's your stream? Okay. Is that how it works? Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, wow. Discord's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm sharing. Do you see that graph I'm showing here in Discord?
I do not.
No? In the live chat. Click like
Yeah, in the
on the
yeah,
live chat.
I'm in live chat. I see no graph.
What?
Look at
Like
this
you should
graph.
see if you click in the live chat, you should see like my picture and then your picture like really big.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's really weird. What if you click on my War Priest live because it says I'm live.
It won't let me click on it.
What the hell? Oops.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
I
I
clicked
left.
on it.
No, I left and now
Oh,
I'm
okay.
back. Dude, what the hell?
And I'm not seeing. I just see, yeah, my picture and your picture. That's it.
Show non-video participant. Oh, that's why. Okay, what about now? Oh. Do you see anything on my in that room? You there, Solo?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I see nothing.
What the fuck? That's so weird. I mean, it says I'm streaming. Let me see something. Okay, I gotta.
Did you post it in the live chat? Like in the messages where I was like,
No,
damn
I'm
it,
not
Discord?
posting anything in the
Oh, you're sharing.
live like
Oh,
VC. It should be
uh,
view channel. Okay, let me see.
I don't know.
Shots everyone. Connect, speak, video. Oh, I think I see why. Okay. All right, I'm gonna try again.
I heard something.
Do you see me like live? If you click on live voice chat, do you see anything?
Oh, okay, yes. Uh, so it's like when my mouse is hovering over your name, I can see the graph on the right, like in a little thing. But when I click on your name, it just says streaming to Warpriest server, sharing their screen. Watch stream. Let me click on that. Okay. Yep. Now I can see it. I had to click on watch stream.
Okay.
I had to watch your stream, man.
Okay, here we go. Do
Pretty
you
good flow. Pretty good flow.
All right.
Yep. Since the onset. Yep.
So, okay. This graph is percent who say that they trust the federal government to do what is right just about always / most of the time. So it starts in the 1950s, right? 1958. Look at this. 73% of people trusted the government to do the right thing. And then around the 60s, the mid 60s, it goes to its max at 77%.
Yep.
But then we go all the way to the 2020, and look, 20% of people say that the government will do the right thing most of the
Dude.
time.
It dropped to 15 when Obama was in administration.
Damn, yeah.
I figured it would have been more than that. But yeah, 20% now. Yeah. That's less than a quarter.
Dude, who was in office during the 2000s?
2000? Bush, man. He took over in 2000, 2001. Remember the Bush-Gore, the whole thing on how the recount down in Florida? Where like Gore won, I think, or he had the most, and then they recounted, or they threw a bunch of votes out, or something like that, and then they was like, "Oh no, Bush wins."
Dude, I was in Puerto Rico. I wasn't following any American politics at all.
I wasn't old enough to vote back then, but I was watching it pretty close.
Okay. Well, but this is interesting. So people trusted that administration, I guess. Look at it. It went up to 54%.
Jeez,
That's kind of.
I figured it would have died down because yeah, that right was when Mr. W, or is that 2001 where we went to war with Afghanistan after 9/11?
Presidents of the United States.
I'm wondering if that spike where it jumped back up is when we went to war with Afghanistan, and people were jumping on that whole Patriot bandwagon of yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah. It was,
Or maybe the decline
wait.
was when they were like, oh, Clinton was getting a blowjob from Monica Lewinsky, and they're like, oh, we don't trust our government, because we can't even trust our president from committing adultery. It's just like, you guys really know Hillary? Maybe she wasn't putting out. Can't blame the guy.
Jesus.
Or it's like, oh, what a piece of shit. It's just like, don't judge him. He's human too. Yeah, if he made a mistake, shame on him, but that's his problem. And he and his wife need to work that out. The government doesn't need to work that out.
So, do you feel the same way about Trump and that porn
And the PP
star?
tape? Oh, yeah, yeah. I don't care. I mean,
He was cheating
I
on his
think
wife while
if the
she was
president wants to
pregnant.
go out and get PP done, I think that's the president's prerogative.
Yeah, for sure. It's private and all
Yeah,
that.
it's private.
You know. But anyway, this chart. So the 2000s. So that's probably
Yeah,
right when we changed
right when we
from
we
Bill
went from
Clinton to
Bush or
Bush.
Clinton to Bush. Yep,
Wow.
and the
Uh,
trust in the government went up.
and it went up. That's interesting.
Tell you, Bush Jr. He actually does look very presidential in his picture there.
Oh yeah.
America, I love America.
I love America.
Nuclear missiles.
Nuclear. All these presidents, man. Hardcore.
I remember I had to memorize them.
John Adams.
Didn't have to know the years that they were in office, thank God, but I at least had to get their names in order. You know, the Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Adams, Monroe. Can't remember. I lost count after that.
Um.
Richard Nixon.
Yeah, so 20%. I wonder if this graph is gonna change.
Yeah, it's gonna go up or down.
Yeah, up or down with Biden. I would think that it's gonna go up, but
I
that's
think it
like
might spike a little bit up. I don't think it's gonna get over 50%,
no way. Yeah,
but maybe up to 30.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What's this link you sent?
Oh, it was just a GIF.
Oh.
Whoa.
Whoa. Oh, dude, I gotta get that like to be able to do it on the stream to like show it.
Just that part right there. The
Whoa.
it's like, oh my gosh, like yeah, you just see something that's totally mind blowing. Just press that keystroke, and then it has him. Oh, I mean, he's doing it like in slow motion almost. I started doing that at work, and people were like, Tony was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I couldn't hold it together. I just started dying laughing. I showed him the meme, and he was like, "This is real?" And I was like, "Yeah, some guy was doing that." He's like, "For what?" I was like, "He's just describing having his mind blown, man." He's like, "He was really getting into it." I was like,
Whoa. He made the meme.
"Yeah,
All right. Well, it's getting kind of late, so
it's time for bed."
I'm gonna be calling it.
Think me too.
All right, man. Well, this was super fun. We gotta do this again. We get other conversations going. Maybe we'll get a few other people on here and
Heck yeah,
have
man.
a
The more
bigger
people, the merrier. I like
conversation.
getting other people's input on a lot of things. I'm like, nah, Eric, don't know what you're talking about. You're full of it.
All right.
I want to hear it.
All right, Matt. Well, I will catch you later.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good, bro. I'll catch you later, champ.
All right. See ya.
Yep, see ya.
All right. Well, that was fun. Yeah. If you guys like this kind of random, conversations about stuff, I'm thinking of doing more of it and probably bring in more people. I might actually like collaborate with other Twitch streamers. If you're a streamer, let me know. I definitely love to have like a conversation about something with you. Just send me a message. Get something going. All right. Well, that is it for me. Super fun. And I will catch you later. Bye.